are participating in a revival forum in Banjul. The two-day event, jointly organized by the Supreme Islamic Council and the university, is meant to promote Islam. Yoro Jallo tells us more.
The university, which has produced several renowned international scholars serving at various capacities all over the world, was established in 1961. Majority of these graduates are generally contributing to the peaceful execution of Islam and its affairs globally. In his opening statement, the Minister of Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology, Dr. Badra Diouf, stressed the significance of the forum, noting that it will further strengthen bilateral ties between Banjul and Riyadh.
It is not a surprise. The relationship between the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and the Gambia dates many decades back, and it has always been a cordial one, anchored in the spirit of Islam, anchored in the spirit of peace, progress and promotion of prosperity, anchored in the spirit of the development of the Islamic Ummah, anchored in the spirit of the spread of Islam as a religion of peace, tolerance, and development. If you look at geographically the position of Saudi Arabia, it seems to be geographically midpoint, and it is a meeting point of all nations, all cultures, and all nationalities.
The program, he added, will also help complement government's efforts towards regional integration. The rector of the Islamic University of Medina, Dr. Hathim Al-Mazouki, said the forum will further help to combat extremism and terrorism and spread true values of Islam.
Objective of which is to strengthen the relationship between graduates of Saudi universities to show and record their role in enhancing and helping their society to spread the true principle of Islam, to do away with extremism and to promote peace, to promote moderation, just. Also, we would like to show the efforts of our graduates, the Saudi University graduates in their society. The Islamic University of Medina was established in 1961.
Dr. Al-Mazouki praised the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia for its efforts in building Islamic centers to combat extremism and distortions against Islam. The president of the Supreme Islamic Council, Al-Haji Muhammad Lamin Toure, said the solution to all problems confronting humanity is embracing the teachings of the Quran and the Sunnah. For GRTS News, this is Yoro Jallo reporting.
A 5-day training program for the 5th batch of National Assembly members is underway at the Paradise Hotel. As Babkar Kamara reports, the Capacity Enhancement Forum is meant to induct deputies on legislative, oversight and representative functions.
Having been nominated as National Member of National Assembly of the Republic of the Gambia.
From inauguration to induction, deputies at the National Assembly are being trained in their legislative and oversight functions to enable a better delivery of their mandate.
The objective of this training is to build the capacity of parliamentarians in the execution of their legislative oversight and representative functions. And as we know, parliamentarians preside over the making of laws for the good of society and also serve as the epic oversight institution of the Republic. Therefore, it is important that the capacity of all honorable members be built along technical and professional legal lines. And this is the reason why we are gathered here today.
The topics to be covered give clear indication as to the multifaceted nature of the legislative oversight and representative mandate of the Assembly and its members.
With an unappealing legislative history of funding its own programs and activities, the National Assembly has registered remarkable gains of capital expenditure towards its infrastructure and services to the electorate.
The Gambia had
grown from a very bigger beginning 20, 30 years ago to what we are today as a National Assembly of the Republic of the Gambia. We had a history of investing very much in Parliament because in 1993-94, Madam Speaker, government's investment in Parliament was about $3 million, budgetary support per annum. Today we are talking of over $90 million.
Parliamentarians themselves, during election campaign, make promises outside their legislative mandate and which they cannot fulfill. Thus, this training program cannot come at a better time.
In the coming days, deputies and staff of the Assembly are envisaged to be taken through an intensive build-up of parliamentary principles, procedures, and best practices to better serve the Gambian electorate.
They elected you, or selected you, or nominated you to represent all the sovereign people of
Babakar Kamara,
and as far as
GRTS.
Officials at the Ministry of Justice will join GRTS's Face the Nation for an exclusive discussion on the outlook of the justice delivery system on Tuesday. Issues concerning access to justice and challenges hampering the rule of law will be the main focus of the discourse. Ibrahim Ajata spoke to officials at the Justice Department about their priority areas amid the new democratic dispensation.
A symbolic statue unveils the promise of justice in the Gambia. A swift and diligent dispensation, fair justice here, is the central guiding principle of the judiciary and justice delivery system.
Access to justice is an important part of our justice delivery system, because justice does not only have to be limited to those who can afford the high fees associated with lawyers and litigation. Access to justice also means affordability.
Within the Attorney General's chambers is a decentralized structure with vast departments and legal accomplishments that begin with an access to justice program seeking to bring legal facilities to the doorsteps of the citizenry.
But we intend to ensure that there is competent and qualified personnel as well. But all of this will come to naught if the people who are supposed to benefit from it are not aware of its existence.
The National Agency for Legal Aid, NALA, is the benevolent face of justice in the Gambia.
The National Agency for Legal Aid, has been set up by an Act of Parliament with a view to providing, legal assistance to, persons who cannot afford to pay for, private lawyers. And unfortunately, since its creation around 2008, the agency has not been able to provide fully fledged legal aid services to all, category of legal issues.
It's a pursuit that outfits justice delivery in a considerate and far-reaching information.
So what we do is we represent clients in capital offenses, murder, rape, physical offenses that are punishable with death or life imprisonment. All offenses punishable with death or life imprisonment, we represent them. We do not do civil cases at the moment because of financial constraints.
So awareness about access to justice is key. There will hopefully be a rigorous and aggressive public information and awareness campaign to make sure that every Gambian in every corner, in every nook and cranny of this country is aware of this existence.
The maintenance of justice and rule of law has become a principal guiding precept, inspiring the drive towards an efficient justice department and independent judiciary, serving the collective and immediate needs of the people.
Ibrahim Ajata, GRTS.
You can join GRTS's Face the Nation team for an in-depth look at the Gambia's judicial system tomorrow, Tuesday, 11th July 2017, at the Ebunjang Theatre Hall at 2:30 p.m. FORID, a non-partisan civil society organization, Saturday held its inaugural lecture on the theme, national dialogue and moving the Gambia towards good governance and democracy. Khadijatu Juwara tells us more.
The program, which brought together lecturers, students as well as dignitaries with the aim to facilitate the exchange of ideas and to help develop and maintain a culture of dialogue in the Gambia, was held at the UTG Law Faculty building in Kanifing. Speaking at the ceremony, Joka Jabang, the interim vice president for it, highlighted the importance of dialogue in promoting the country's development agenda.
Freedom of expression is a God-given and universally accepted human right. We believe that the urgent need to assert and proclaim this basic right in order to contribute to development in the Gambia has become imperative telling on all of us. Secondly, we realized that notwithstanding our small size, the country is extraordinarily endowed with extensive reservoir of highly trained, well-informed and experienced people who are found both in country and outside the Gambia.
Professor of Political Science Babukar Sarr said Gambians at home and abroad are becoming increasingly concerned about the country's direction.
The new Gambia must be more inclusive and celebrate as well as reflect diversity in its national institutions and significantly dismantle privilege and entitlement. In the long term, the new Gambia must become economically and politically independent.
Professor Sarr noted that the new Gambia should strive to strengthen communication with the population to promote transparency and confidence in its dealing with Gambians and the outside world. Journalist Ba Tarawale urged youths in particular to be proactive in national development.
It is easier to stop him than to uplift him, or to lift him, to uplift him. And it's easier, it's more difficult to prepare the aftermath, because it's to ruin the brain of everybody. It's ruin the teaching of everybody. Nobody is teaching correctly. And that is what seems visible in this country now.
Reporting for GRTS News, I am Khadija Tujuwara.
Following the preliminary report of the ICT Task Force recently instituted by His Excellency the President, Cabinet has decided to terminate the contract between the Government of the Gambia and Communication Infrastructure, informs the public that the management and control of the International Gateway has now been transferred to Gamtel with effect from Friday, 7th July 2017. As a result, Gamtel did a successful takeover, and now all international calls to and from the Gambia are through the Gamtel Gateway. Meanwhile, the international call termination rate has been reduced by 18%. The government will continue to work with Gamtel and operators to further reduce the cost of communication. Meanwhile, the Managing Director of Gamtel, Mr. Suleiman Suso, has welcomed the development. In an interview with GRTS, Suso said the move will help in improving the country's economy. Let's take a listen.
We have the data gateway that is liberalized. All operators have their own data gateway, but this is the voice gateway. The international voice gateway is what is not liberalized for now. It is actually managed by the government, and the government actually saw it fitting to give it to Gamtel for now. So that is what we are taking over. That has to do with international calls in and out of the country. Gamtel, with the instructions from the government, has actually lowered the international termination rate. And we believe that that's going to have a positive impact on the end user. And also it's going to have an impact on the level of fraud that is being realized in international termination rates are lower, it will discourage the fraudsters to really bring in fraud, because they'll come through the legal way. You know, so this is one thing that we are looking at. Hopefully, it's going to change the landscape of the way people perceive, you know, coming into the Gambia through international calls.
Gamtel's MD, Suleiman Suso there, speaking to GRTS's Teneng GT. The National Population Commission, in partnership with the United Nations Fund for Population Affairs, Monday briefed the media on the upcoming World Population Day celebrations, as well as issues related to family planning. Abdullah Baji has the rest of that story.
As the countdown to the World Population Day nears, the National Population Commission, in partnership with the United Nations Funds for Population Affairs, today convened on a press briefing at its office in Banjul. The day is set aside to pay attention to population issues, and thus there is need to create awareness on issues that affect our daily lives.
We are advocating for the adolescents, the youths, to have access to information and services so that they could make informed choices when they grow older.
Speaking at the briefing, the representative of the UNFPA highlighted the significant impact family planning has in our lives, saying it plays a crucial role in fighting poverty.
The rights of women and girls to decide freely for themselves on whether, when and how many children to have brings women and girls more opportunities to become wage earners, boosting family income levels, and as well as gain access to productive resources.
Family planning is vital to this.
Family planning is an integral part of the Sustainable Development Goals. In 2015, contraceptives provided by UNFPA had the potential to prevent 103 million unintended pregnancies.
The population of the Gambia has increased significantly over the years. The celebration of World Population Days has the theme Family Planning, Empowering People, Developing Nation. Reporting for GRTS News, I am Abdullah Baji.
Meanwhile, the Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Safilo Sise, has delivered a statement to mark World Population Day, highlighting the importance of the event.
The focus on family planning could not have been timelier, as challenges facing families and nation, although improving, still remain such a hindrance to the full support, to the full attainment of the post-ICDP 2015 development agenda and the national development goals. This year, World Population Day coincides with London Family Planning Summit that will further advance the agenda of the consortium of donors and stakeholders that make up the Family Planning 2020 initiative, which aims to expand access to the voluntary family planning to 220 million additional women globally by the year 2020. Fellow Gambians, access to safe voluntary family planning is a human right. It is also central to gender equality and women's empowerment, and is a key factor in reducing poverty and achieving accelerated economic growth. In 1968, the International Year for Human Rights, UN member states recognized the right of individuals and couples to decide on family size. Being able to plan how many children to have and when to have them is a recognized right, but this right is yet to be recognized, particularly among the less economically fortunate. This has resulted to thousands of unintended pregnancies and maternal deaths. The late UNFPA Executive Director, Dr. Babatunde Osetiam, said for women to reach their full potential and be more economically productive, they must be able to exercise their right to decide for themselves whether, when, or how often to have children.
Minister of Health and Social Welfare there, Safilo Sise, delivering a televised statement marking World Population Day. The National Youth Service Scheme has completed a 6-month training program for 33 participants on rice production in Sapo, Central River Region. The training is meant to support young people to contribute in boosting the country's economy. Aminata Sanyang has the rest of that story.
In the growth of the country's economy and central to this agriculture,
considered as one of the prime movers of the country's economy. It is in line with that the National Youth Service Scheme held a 6-month training for 33 youngsters in rice production.
The Gambia National Youth Service Scheme has been sending youth to Soko to be trained in rice production since 1990s. These were trained on topics and models at the discretion of the trainer or the traders.
Young people of different backgrounds were selected after going through a thorough screening and evaluation. The participants were trained in different languages to broaden their understanding of the selected areas of training. Officials say this is meant to arm the youngsters' skills to earn a decent living, and in the process discourage them from embarking on illegal migration.
My ministry is working on a strategic blueprint that will provide the necessary tools for youth to meet their life aspirations and become more useful to self and national development. And I ardently intimate to this August gathering that my ministry, under my leadership, will assure you that it will continue to give all necessary support to the NYSS to make it more relevant, sustainable, and serve as the advance party for our national drive and new development in this new Gambia.
This initiative will enable youth to put ideas into actions and provide them with the necessary skills to be innovative. According to the authorities, the National Youth Service Scheme has registered success stories since its inception.
The scheme that has been launched in 1996 has registered success stories in its efforts in reinforcing the attitude of young people with the required skills training, one of which is graduating today.
Speaking on behalf of the Minister of Youth and Sport, spoke of the ministry's support towards the National Youth Service Scheme.
We have a moral obligation to reach out to the poor and the needy. We owe it to our children and grandchildren to address the issues of youth unemployment as a strategy for dealing with various problems affecting our youth, including youth poverty, resulting from many demographic, economic, and social factors.
Speaker after speaker encouraged these youngsters to work hard for their betterment and that of the country. The participants expressed appreciation for their involvement in the training as they pledged their willingness to translate their newfound knowledge into action. Reporting for GRT's News, I am Amina Dassanyan.
The community of Baniko, Kariko in the Upper River region Saturday held a mass rally to celebrate the victory of the National Assembly member for Basse, Honorable Mohamed Magasi, following his victory in April's parliamentary elections. Haji Sumbundu has the rest of that story.
The colorful ceremony organized by Mohamed Mangasi Support Foundation for Peace and Development was attended by hundreds of supporters and well-wishers. Speaking at the ceremony, Honorable Mangasi thanked the people of the area for the trust and confidence bestowed on him. He urged them to unite for the country peace and development. Alhaji Baba Jenaba Jawara Alkalo of Kumbija urged his people to desist from politics and violence. Other speakers, including Baba Amisila of Sabi Karim Konate and Haji Ghana, all of Baniko Kekoro, echoed similar sentiment. Reporting for GRTS News, I'm Haji Sumbundo.
Time now to take our first break. We will be back with sports news right after this. Don't go away. Welcome back. The Gambia's Chang team has returned from Guinea-Bissau, where they secured an impressive 1-0 win over their Guinean counterparts ahead of their meeting with Mali in the Chang qualifiers. The junior Scorpions have gone straight into camp upon returning to continue preparing for the crunch encounter against the Malians this weekend. MS Jallo traveled with the young Scorpions and he now tells us more.
Barely a week after sharing the spoils in a goalless draw in Banjul, the Chan teams of Guinea-Bissau and the Gambia returned to the pitch for a second friendly international in the space of 7 days. This time, the return led in Bissau. With the first game in Banjul ending in a draw, the two sides emerged from the underground dugout onto the newly laid artificial turf at the Estadio Lino Coria, determined to win. The two test games are in preparation for the two countries' respective qualifiers for the 2018 Chan tournament in Kenya, with the Gambia hosting Mali in the first leg of the first round of qualifiers at the Independence Stadium on July 15th, whilst Guinea-Bissau will cross over the border to face their neighbors Guinea-Conakry. Coach Alhaji Sarr made several changes to the side that drew in the first game as he goes inside for his first win in charge of the home-based players. Guinea-Bissau has recently become a difficult hunting ground for visiting teams, but the Junior Scorpions produced a spirited performance to break the newly built Bissau fortress. Scorpions Yankuba Jaju's first half stint injected enough venom to team the Junior Wild Dogs of Guinea-Bissau. It was a thrilling contest played at a very fast tempo, with both sides trying to stamp their authority on the game in the early stages. After some decent openings at both ends, Yankuba Jaju fired the visitors in front with a brilliant finish in the 29th minute. The Bissau Guineans were robbed of possession in midfield by Musa Yafa as a result of the Scorpions' high pressing, who combined brilliantly with Pa Umar Ju to set up Yankuba Jaju, and the number 9 rarely missed from that position as he calmly finished from close to. Both sides remained unchanged after the break, and so does the intensity of the game. The young Wild Dogs of Bissau appears to have shaken off the sting of the Scorpions by mounting pressure on the visitors. But any time the Wild Dogs' backs wants to bite, they were repelled back by the Scorpions' defense line, who defended pretty well throughout the 90 minutes. The host came very close to equalizing twice in stoppage time, but goalkeeper Alhaji Nyabali made 2 brilliant saves in quick succession. First, a point-blank save from this free kick before tipping the ball over the bar from this thunderous shot. 2 outstanding saves from the Real de Banjul shot-stopper to secure Coach Alhaji Sarr his first win in charge of the home-based Scorpions.
I'm very happy winning today's game. I think that will motivate the team in our next coming. But today's game, I definitely the team have definitely impressed me. Despite fighting spirit was there, they were hungry to score goals, and so I think against Mali, if we play like this at home, we can make it.
The Bissau performance marked an improvement from the first game, and the results will be a morale booster ahead of the Mali game at the Independence Stadium this Saturday.
This is one team that I think Gambia can continue to work with, so that we can assure of the type of results that we desire for the country. I know they have a lot more work to do. They are going back to Banjul, continue preparing for the next game. That is against Mali. Mali is a big team. I remember last year they went as far as the semi-finals in the Chan competition. So that's a big team, and we only hope that they will be able to keep the momentum.
The Junior Scorpions are back in town and will resume training Monday morning before going into camp to sharpen their teams and force their little venom before hosting the Malians. Well, this is indeed a very good result for Alhaji Sarr's Chan team ahead of their clutch encounter against the Malians on the 15th of this month in the first leg to be played at the Independence Stadium in Banjul. But coming here and beating Guinea-Bissau in a performance that was very, very impressive is definitely a morale booster for the Junior Scorpions as they prepare for that all-important qualifiers against the Eagles or the Eaglets of Mali in Banjul. Mohamed S. Jallo, GRT Sports, at the Lino Coria Stadium in Bissau.
Time now to take a look at the international news. The United Kingdom medical counterparts of the United Nations mission in South Sudan has opened a hospital in the Bentiu region. This health facility will provide medical care to over 1,800 military and civilian staff working in remote areas. More in this report.
The newly opened hospital will be able to treat 20 patients at a time, including up to 4 in intensive care. It provides an extensive range of services, including an emergency department, surgical theatre, laboratory, X